The movie begins with a voiceover of a man narrating and saying, "I wish I could tell you that this was still America, but I've come to realize that you can't have a country without people, and there are no people here. No, my friends, this is now the United States of Zombieland." It's amazing how quickly things can go from bad to worse. And why am I alive when everyone around me had turned to meat? It's because of my list of rules. Rule number 1 for survival in Zombieland is cardio. When the virus struck, for obvious reasons, the first one to go were the fatties. As the infection spread and chaos grew, it wasn't enough just being fast on your feet. You'd have to get a gun and learn how to use it. Which leads me to my second rule, the double tab. In those moments when you're not sure that the undead are really dead, don't get off stingy with your bullets. I mean, one more clean shot to the head. Rule number 3, beware of bathrooms. As zombie began to outnumber humans, that's when you have to cut all emotional ties. If the girls in your neighborhood are now fucked up little monsters, oh, maybe it's time to stop driving carpools. You have to focus on your own survival, which leads to rule 4, pretty basic. Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. That guy down there is me. I'm in Garland, Texas. That may look like zombies destroyed it, but that's actually Garland. Just 2 months, and I might be the last non-cannibal freak in the country. I may seem like an unlikely survivor with all my phobias and irritable bowel syndrome, but I had the advantage of never having any friends or close family. I survived because I played it safe and followed the rules. Another rule to surviving Zombieland: travel light. And I don't mean just luggage. I've always been kind of a loner. I avoided other people like they were zombies, even before they were zombies. Now that they are all zombies, I kind of miss people. So I'm on my way from my college dorm in Austin, Texas to Columbus, Ohio, where I'm hoping my parents are still alive, even though we were never really close. Just be nice to see a familiar face. Then the man who is narrating saw someone coming in a car, and he rides with him and he thanked him. Then the other man asked him, "What are you looking for?" The narrating man said, "Nothing, I had this list." The other man said, "No one back there but my duffel bag." "What's your name?" "Stop. No names. Keeps us from getting too familiar." "Where are you headed?" The narrating man said, "Columbus." "You?" The other man said, "Tallahassee. And these will be their names." So Columbus said, "You know, Tallahassee and Columbus are both, east. You want to stick together? At least for a while." Then Tallahassee said, "Here's the deal, Columbus. I'm not easy to get along with, and I'm sensing you're a bit of a bitch. I'll get this relationship to about, Texarkana." Columbus said, "Really?" "Yeah, you'll take me as far as Texarkana. You might want to buckle up, you know, for safety." Tallahassee said, "I can tell already you are getting on my nerve." Columbus narrating, "Even though teaming up wasn't my style, I figure I'll be safer with Tallahassee. You see, he was in the ass-kicking business." Then Columbus and Tallahassee went to push a car. Tallahassee said, "All right, you steer, I'll push." Columbus said, "Okay, I've heard there's a place untouched by all this." Tallahassee said, "Back east, yeah." Columbus said, "Yeah, you heard the same thing?" Tallahassee said, "Out west we hear back east. Back east. Here it's here out west, and it's all just nonsense." Then while Tallahassee was driving, he said to Columbus, "I'm worried about you. Look, whatever you have waiting for you in Columbus, I'll promise you, it ain't be any pretty than our friend here enjoying her man, which..." Then Columbus narrating on that saying, "Tallahassee had a sixth sense of humor when it came to zombies. Zombies aren't the most lovable creature, but he really hated them. In fact, the only thing he was more obsessed to than killing a zombie was finding a Twinkie. Something about the Twinkie reminded him about time not so long ago. When things were simple, it was like if he got a taste of that comforting childhood treat, the world would become innocent again and everything would return to normal." Pretty prospecting. Then they both stopped by a supermarket. Columbus said, "You're gonna risk our lives for a Twinkie?" Tallahassee said, "There's a boxes of Twinkies in that grocery store. Not just any box of Twinkie. The last box of Twinkie that anyone will enjoy in the whole universe. Believe it or not, Twinkie have an expiration day. Someday very soon, life's little twinkle gauge is gonna go empty." Then Columbus narrating, "When Tallahassee goes Hulk on a zombie, he set the standard for not to be a coward. No fear, nothing to lose. What can I say? It's like an art." Then a normal girl appeared to them, and Columbus narrating, "All I could think of was, what are the odds? Another marriageable woman to bring home to the folks." She said, "Come quick." And Columbus narrating, "Someone's ear is in danger of having hair brushed over it." Then he said to Tallahassee, "I'll catch up later." Then Columbus narrating to us, Rule 22, "When in doubt, know your way out." And when Columbus joined them, Tallahassee said to him, "They're sisters. The little one's been bit. Act normal. Try not to freak her out." And Tallahassee introduced them to each other. Columbus, "Wichita, Little Rock." Wichita said, "So you did all this for a Twinkie?" Columbus said, "Oh no, he did. I'm just kind of like a Sancho Panza character. I don't think she has long to live." Wichita said, "I know, so does she. We're just looking for a way out." Columbus said, "No, she's still a little girl. Little Rock said, "Don't talk about me like I'm not here." Columbus said, "All right, I'm sorry. Look, I know that you're really sick, but your sister wants me to." Little Rock said, "It's not her decision, it's mine. I made a promise. We already said goodbye, but we didn't have a gun." Columbus said, "Oh look, we don't know that there's definitely no cure, right?" Little Rock said, "You're just gutless." Wichita said, "Give him the gun." Wait, I'll do it. I love you." Tallahassee said, "You need some help?" Wichita said, "Now that you mention it, we'll take your weapons, your car key, your ammunitions, and if you got it, sugarless gum." Columbus says, Wait, why are you guys doing it?" Wichita says, "Well, better you make the mistake of trusting us than we make the mistake of trusting you." Then Columbus narrating, "Of course the first hot girl in 1,000 miles shows up, makes me feels like an idiot, steals my double barrel and says I'm the one that can't be trusted." Tallahassee said, "Nice going, genius." Columbus replied, "You're the one that gave her the gun." Then the two men went to search for another car and they found a yellow Hummer car. Columbus said, "This is a really big truck," Tallahassee said, "and these are really big gun." Then they went on their way and Columbus said to Tallahassee, "You know they say he who seeks revenge should remember to dig 2 graves." Tallahassee said, "All right, 2 graves. One for the big chick, one for the little chick." Columbus said, "You're scary happy. Come on, why don't we just forget about those girls and head home?" Then they found the car that the girls stole from Tallahassee in the middle of the road. Tallahassee said, "Going in, it's a trap. Wait here, drive down if I signal." Columbus said, "You're not gonna shoot them, are you?" Tallahassee said, "Unless they shoot me." "Oh, let's hope they shoot me." Then when Tallahassee did not find them, he told Columbus, "Looks like they hoofed it, probably headed west. Just drive slow, keep your eyes peeled. They're in the back, aren't they?" Little Rock said, "Just me." Columbus said, "I'm really sorry. She was like a crouching tiger." Tallahassee said, "You got taken hostage by a 12-year-old?" Columbus replied, "Well, girls mature faster than boys. She is way ahead of where I was at that age." Little Rock said, "12's the new 20. Gun, please." Tallahassee said, "Like you would ever use it. Don't kill me with my own gun. All those violent video games." Little Rock said, "Thank you. Now honk your horn." Columbus said, "Oh, there's your sister. My gun too." Wichita said, "Now step away from the vehicle. You get to ride shotgun." Then Columbus narrating, "I kinda like this girl. She's not your typical hot, stuck-up bitch." Even before Zombieland, Wichita was running the table on guys like us. I guess we're just lucky they didn't leave us by the side of the road. Then Columbus thanked both Wichita and Little Rock. Then they put their guns on each other's faces. So Columbus tried to ease the tension by saying, "Hey, enough already. We're being chased by ravenous freaks. We don't have enough problems." "Oh, they stole my Hummer. We have trust issues. Drive down the road playing spy." Then Tallahassee said, "Let me be the mature one." Columbus said, "So where are you guys headed?" Wichita said, "Pacific Playland." Then Columbus said to Wichita, "Oh, I've actually been meaning to ask you. Did you hear anything about Columbus, Ohio?" Wichita said, "It's a total ghost town, burned to the ground." "You're Columbus. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was." Then sad Columbus narrating, "I'm not sure what's more tragic, that my family is gone, or the realization that I had never much of a family to begin with. Either way, I can't pretend that whatever I'm looking for, I'll find by going home. I have no home." Then Wichita said, "We can give you a ride. You can go, see for yourself, or settle somewhere new." And Columbus continues narrating, "I could tell she knew what I was feeling. We are all orphans in Zombieland. I know this Pacific Playland thing is crazy, but it's been so long since she got to be a kid. It's tough growing up in Zombieland. It's tough growing up." Then Wichita said to Columbus, "There, you can take that truck. Hope you find whoever it is you're looking for, and don't let go once you do." Then Columbus narrating, "It wasn't just because I had nowhere else to go. It was cause in that moment it became clear. Wherever this girl was, that's where I wanted to be." Then they went to a store, and Tallahassee said, "Hold on. Who wants to go first?" Columbus says to himself, "I really want to impress Wichita, but it would be a direct violation of rule number 17. Maybe the most important of all, don't be hero." Then after they destroyed the store and they drove along the way, Columbus narrating, "For the first time in a long time, we were having fun. So even though it ran counter to our survival strategies, we decided to stay together as far as Pacific Playland. When they became tired of driving, Tallahassee said, 'You know, I think sleep deprivation is like the #1 health problem in America.' Columbus said, 'No, I think it might be number 2. Tallahassee said, "We're in Hollywood, let's sleep in style." Then Columbus said, "It seems like everyone who has ever been in a movie lives on this block." Tallahassee said, "What exactly do you think we're doing in the 90210, Sally?" "I kind of pictured Tom Cruise living somewhere nicer. B-lister compared to who I got in mind, folks. We are going to the teepee top of the A-list." Then they entered a palace and they said to each other, "This place is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to La Mencion de Murray." Then Columbus said to them, "Hey Tallahassee, Wichita, why don't you take that way? Little Rock, come here." Then Columbus and Little Rock reached the movie theater of Bill Murray and they were amazed by it. On the other side, Tallahassee and Wichita went to Bill Murray's bedroom and kind of enjoyed it. Then Bill Murray himself showed up and Tallahassee said, "Bill Murray, you're a zombie." "You're not a zombie, you're talking." And Wichita said to Bill Murray, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that it was you. Then Bill Murray said, oh, I do it to blend in. You know zombies don't mess with other zombies. Buddy of mine, makeup guy, showed how to do this. It suits my lifestyle. You know I like to get out and do stuff. Just played 9 holes at the Riviera, just walked on, nobody there. Then Tallahassee's going crazy saying, this is so surreal, I mean. You probably get this all the time. Well, maybe not lately, but I'm such a huge fan of yours. I've seen every one of your movies a million times. I even love your dramatic roles, everything. 6 people left in the world. One of them is Bill Murray. I love you, Bill. I love you. Then Bill said to Wichita, you are staring at me. It's a hairpiece. It's a... Wichita said, sorry. It's just that you look remarkably like Eddie Van Halen. Bill replied, I just saw Eddie Van Halen at the Hollywood Bowl. He's a zombie. Then Bill with Tallahassee and Wichita went to scare Columbus. Then Columbus shot Bill down and said, it's okay. It's okay, I got him. Then dying Bill says, is that how you say hello where you come from? Columbus said, oh my God, I can't believe I shot Bill Murray. Then Tallahassee said, I don't think we're gonna be able to stitch this. Ow, that's still tender. Then Columbus said, if it means anything now, I am so sorry. It was just instinctive. It was my bad. Then Bill said, I was never a very good practical joker. Then after that, they were having a fun night talking with each other and chatting about Zombieland, oh free parking, which coincidentally is the best thing about Zombieland. Columbus said, no, best thing about Zland, no Facebook status updates. Tallahassee said, the best thing is no more flushing, epic. And worst thing? Columbus said, you mean other than the fact that I shot Bill Murray? That's easy. Tallahassee said, losing Bob. Columbus said, that's his puppy. Tallahassee said, I tell you, I never thought I could love anything like Bob. The day he was born, I just lost my mind. He had my personality, my laugh, my appetite, and it turned to be his son. Then Tallahassee continues, we made this wallet together out of duct tape. Take away a man's son. You've truly given him nothing left to lose. I haven't cried like that since Titanic. Then Columbus and Wichita were chatting with each other, and they got along. Wichita said, I like you, Columbus, but my sister and I are going to do whatever it takes to survive, so... And Columbus narrating on that, I was hoping Wichita was just playing hard to get, but I realized that she had more trust issues than I did. When I woke up the next day, and she was leaving, and Columbus said to Tallahassee, you are like a giant cock-blocking robot, developed in a secret government lab. Then Wichita said while driving the Hummer with her sister, I can't believe I almost kissed him. What's our rule? Little Rock replied, trust no one, just you and me. Then Wichita and Little Rock reached finally the playland, and Wichita said to her, you have just survived the zombie apocalypse and drove halfway across the country. Where are you gonna go? Little Rock replied happily, I'm going to Pacific Playland. Woo. Then we returned to Columbus, who said to himself, this is the problem with getting attached to someone. When they leave, you just feel lost. Having Tallahassee around didn't comfort me. It just made me feel alone. Then Columbus said to Tallahassee, I'm going after Wichita. Tallahassee said, you ever read that book? She's just not that into you. You can't make yourself too available. Columbus replied, I don't care. All right, I want to be with her. Tallahassee said, tell the ladies I said hey. Columbus said, you know there are pictures of her in someone's wallet too, and the zombies at that time were chasing Wichita and Little Rock at the playland. Then Columbus and Tallahassee went to save Wichita and Little Rock, and Tallahassee says while killing zombies while driving, my mama always told me, someday I'll be good at something. Who'd have guessed that something'd be zombie killing? And when Wichita and Little Rock saw Columbus and Tallahassee, they said, look, we better start working on our apology. Up here, Columbus said to Tallahassee, they're up there, they're okay. Tallahassee replied, what are you waiting for? It's your girl. Then Tallahassee started to kill a lot of zombies, and Columbus was going through the zombies to save Wichita and Little Rock. He even killed a clown zombie, and he finally managed to save them. And then the loving Columbus narrating, that face. That's me, realizing that those smart girls in that big black truck and that big guy in that snakeskin jacket, they were the closest to something I had always wanted, but never really had, a family. I trusted them, and they trusted me. Tallahassee got his Twinkie, and even though life will never be simple or innocent again, as he savored that spongy yellow log of cream, we had hope, we had each other, and without other people, you might swell, be a zombie. Thank you so much. You had us going. So until next time, remember, cardio, seatbelts. And this really has nothing to do with anything, but a little sunscreen never hurt anybody. I'm Columbus, Ohio, from Zombieland saying, good night, Zombieland 2019. Then we continue the story of Zombieland with Columbus narrating, welcome to Zombieland. Back for seconds after all this time? Well, what can I say but thank you. You have a lot of choices when it comes to zombie entertainment, and we appreciate you picking us. The only reason we've survived the last several years is we've gotten to know our bloodthirsty enemies better than we know ourselves. In the time since we last saw you, zombies have evolved, so we've given them different names. This lady here is getting chased by the dumbest zombie there is, what we call a Homer. In a world without YouTube, who isn't entertained by a Homer? Unfortunately, for every Homer, there's a Hawking, as in Stephen. Or maybe his slightly less accomplished sister, Beatrix, who's still got some brains left to figure things out. You can imagine how thrilled we were to crack the zombie code, but life is about more than just survival. Ever since we were evicted from our normal lives, I'd been searching for a place to put down roots. My old pal Tallahassee has this saying, go big or go home. It's not his signature phrase, but it did give me an idea. Why not go big and go home? Then they went to the White House to live in it, and Tallahassee immediately sat on the president chair. So Little Rock said, wait, why does he get to be president? Tallahassee replied, I would have made a damn fine president, kissed a few hands, shook a few babies. Wichita said, you would have brought a real dignity to the office. Tallahassee replied, thank you. Wichita said, you don't have what it takes. I'll be president, and I nominate Little Rock as my VP. Little Rock said, so that means I get to be president if you get culled by zombies. Wichita replied, that wasn't what I was thinking when I offered you the position, but yes. Then Columbus narrating, I have this rule, enjoy the little things, which is what we spent a lot of time doing in those early days at the White House, and it was a really special time, making a house our home. Wichita and I fell into our own version of domestic bliss. Well, not quite bliss, but domesticity to be sure. Then Tallahassee was with Little Rock while he was making his beast car, and he said to her, you are so gorgeous. She replied, we really need to find you someone. Tallahassee said, that's where you're wrong. Any romance left in me belongs to the beast here. So Little Rock said to him, well, then we need to find someone for me. Tallahassee replied, shouldn't be a problem, long as you're open to dating zombies. Little Rock said, so you're saying what? I'm never gonna find a boyfriend or get married, have a family? Tallahassee replied, we're you family, so 1 out of 3 ain't bad. And Columbus narrating on that, Little Rock had a strong desire to leave the nest. And let's just say Tallahassee wasn't the most understanding father figure. But for better or worse, we were a family. And for the first time since the virus, we were living somewhere truly safe, making every day feel like, well, like Christmas morning. And one day, Tallahassee was giving all of them gifts, as if he is Santa. And when he gave Little Rock a gun, she decided to leave, saying that she will use it outside. So Columbus narrating on that, Little Rock was on the hunt all right for people her own age. And the thing is, they were out there. We just made it a point to keep our distance, which would suck if you were the one stuck in the nest. Then Wichita was worried about Little Rock, so Columbus said to her, hey, she'll be fine. Wichita said, wish she didn't remind me so much of me. Columbus said, what's wrong with you? Nothing. All right. Then he picked up a ring and said to her, I wasn't gonna do this now. Look, you always say that. Like, I play it too safe, and I know we've been in like a bit of a rut lately. So I thought, what better way to spice things up than to, Wichita said, get married? Columbus said, yeah, well, I was gonna say get married. Yay! Wichita said, you know how I feel about this. We've talked about this. In my limited but absurdly painful experience, married people only do one thing, get divorced. Columbus said, I don't see us going that route. I mean, where would we find the lawyers? Wichita said, I don't know what to say. Columbus said, well, don't say anything, okay? This was my fault. I put you on the spot. Just think about it and let me know whenever you're ready. Everything will work out exactly as it's supposed to. Then when Columbus woke up, he said to Tallahassee, hey, Buttercup, what's wrong? Tallahassee said, bad news. Columbus said, today is the day that Wichita says. Tallahassee said, adios, goodbye. And Columbus read the letter Wichita left. Dear C&T, we feel about leaving. Then we see Wichita and Little Rock driving Tallahassee beast car after they stole it. And Little Rock said, he's gonna take this beast thing pretty hard. Wichita replied, well, he should learn to not get so attached. Never get attached. Remember? That was the problem with Columbus. He got too attached. Little Rock said, well, with Tallahassee, it's like Wichita interrupted her. He thinks he's my dad. Sure, but you are lucky you don't have a boyfriend. Then suddenly Little Rock told Wichita to stop as she saw someone standing in front of the car. Then Columbus narrating, while he and Tallahassee went to a mall. Wichita leaving hit me like a shotgun blast. So after weeks of feeling sorry for myself, I thought a little retail therapy might help get her off my mind. Tallahassee said to him, okay, I'm giving you one more day to mope around. This whole finding a home idea of yours has made us soft. And by us, I mean you. It's high time that we nut up and hit the road again. And by we, I mean me. That's where I belong. On my own. Lone wolf. You're welcome to tag along, Columbus said. But when they come back, we won't be here. Tallahassee said, they're never coming back. Then a woman appeared to Columbus and he thought she was a zombie. Then they introduced themselves to each other. And her name is Madison. Then she hugged him immediately and said, it's nice to touch a human. Then Tallahassee entered and Columbus said to her, don't mind me. If I can have my body, this is Tallahassee Tallahassee, this is Madison. Madison said, is this your dad? Tallahassee replied, slightly older, better-looking friend. You live here? Madison said, I live in the freezer in Pinkberry. It keeps the zombies out, though it is awfully chilly. Tallahassee said, do you ever consider turning it off? Madion replied, couldn't find the switch anywhere, just hoping the electricity would run out. Columbus said to her, you know, we set up camp, like, down the road at the White House. Would you want to come hang out? She said, I would love that. Then when they went to the White House with Madison, Tallahassee said to Columbus, can we have a little summit in the Oval Office? Then they went to the Oval Office. You got to broom this girl. You know why she's still alive? Because zombies eat brains, and she ain't got any, all right? It doesn't matter because I'm hitting the road come sunup. Then Madison interrupted them and said to Columbus, could you maybe give me a tour? Then after some time, both Columbus and Tallahassee heard noise, and they met on the hallway. And when they reached the ground floor, they found Wichita. She said, honey, I'm home. Columbus said, oh my God, you're back. Wichita said, I'm not staying. I came to get weapons. Little Rock's gone. Then she continued, it was great. It felt so good to be on the move again. Columbus said, we've been having a really good time here too, together. Wichita said, we picked up someone new, just a boy. He's a couple years older than Little Rock, and he's from Berkeley. He plays the guitar, and he's a pacifist. He has survived on a strict policy of conflict avoidance, like Gandhi. And Wichita was telling Columbus and Tallahassee that Little Rock was sitting with this new boy called Nazmati. And she asked him, hey, have you ever heard of this place, Graceland? I've just always wanted to go there. And Wichita continues, I was adamant it was a dumb idea, so I did what I never do with her. I told her no. You can guess what happened next. She left a note, and then she hit the road. I'm so worried, you guys. They're traveling all that way, and all they have is a guitar. Columbus added, yeah, with no intention of ever swinging it at anything. You know, because he's a hippie. Tallahassee said, she's supposed to be culling the dead, not following them. Wichita said, Berkeley told us about this new kind of zombie that's stronger and faster and deadlier and better adapted to the hunt. Columbus said, I'm sorry, but that sounds totally made up. If you want us to come with you, just ask us. Wichita replied, honestly, I just came back for guns and ammunition. Columbus said, yeah, she's not a kid, but I don't know, it sounds like she needs us. Tallahassee said, whatever, we're gonna go get her. We ride at dawn. Once she's safe, I'm going my own way. Then Madison appeared saying, Columbus, you coming back to the bed? And Wichita became shocked. Then they took Madison with them to save Little Rock. Then they went to steal a bus, and they fought some zombies during taking the bus. And one of the zombies was not dying easily, so Columbus narrated this. This was our first T-800, named for the Terminator itself. T-800s were a mutated strain of zombie, stronger, deadlier, and harder to cull. They were the apex predator, top of the food chain, single-minded and relentless like their namesake. Once they locked onto a target, T-800s stopped at nothing to devour their prey. Seeing that T-800 firsthand was all the more worrisome, knowing that Little Rock was out there with nothing but a hippie and a guitar. Then they rode the bus, and Tallahassee started to drive it. Then the bus wheels are punctured after few meters, and they took the car again. And while they were driving the car, Madison had some allergic reactions. Wichita said, you're gonna want to pull through. Columbus said, maybe she will pull through. Wichita said, you are the one who says, don't take chances. Tallahassee said, so who wants, do the honors. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind, but I don't want you guys calling me selfish. Columbus replied, she's a living being. Wichita said, look, I know you guys are in love or whatever, but in 2 minutes, she's gonna become a zombie, not a velociraptor, and it's the right thing to do. Then Columbus said to himself, they say when something bad happens, you have 3 choices. Let it define you, destroy you, or strengthen you. Then he went to shoot her. Then he returned, and they got back on the road again. Then they reached Graceland, and Columbus said to sleeping Tallahassee, hey little buddy, don't be cruel to me for waking you up, but we're here. Then Tallahassee said, every choice I've ever made in my life has been leading me to this moment right here, right now, 3764 Elvis Presley Boulevard. I feel like a 1954 teeny bopper, and here comes no Graceland, no beast. Wichita added, no Little Rock. Tallahassee said, am I not allowed one little break in this world? Wichita said, you're not the only one that's upset. Tallahassee said, just drive, get away from here. And Columbus narrating on that, Graceland was a pile of rubble. Little Rock was still missing, and we were unsure of our next move. But sometimes you just have to follow the signs. Then they reached a place called Hound Dog Hotel, and they found the beast car parking outside. When they entered the place, Tallahassee said, wow, for a place that ain't Graceland, it sure looks a hell of a lot like Graceland. Wichita said, here's the idea. We'll split up. I'll go this way. I should talk to her. I'm her sister. You guys stay here. Then a woman appeared and put the gun in the face of Tallahassee, and they introduced their names to each other. She is called Nevada. Then Nevada said, now what are you doing in the Hound Dog? Tallahassee said, I got a thing for the king. Then Columbus and Wichita came, and Nevada was about to shoot them, but Tallahassee said, no, don't shoot my friends. Nevada said, anybody else in here with you? Tallahassee said, no, just us. Wichita said, you live here? here? Nevada replied. Yeah. Wichita said, so that car out front, the girl who was driving it, is she? Nevada interrupted. Gone. She and that poser peace lover of hers took off a few days ago, and trust me, they shouldn't have. It's not safe out there. Tallahassee said, why didn't they take the beast? Nevada replied, he said it was too establishment. Wichita said, the girl that was here before, did she say where she was going? Nevada replied, no, but that idiot Berkeley wouldn't shut up about it. Then we see Nazmate says to Little Rock, Babylon is a commune, safe haven, protected on all sides, completely pacifist, no guns or violence of any kind. A lot of young people too, you know. Generation Z living in peace and harmony. Little Rock said, it sounds cool. Nazmate said, I know you had your heart set on this Graceland, but this is mucho, mucho better. Then Nazmate and Little Rock reached Babylon and he said, this is Babylon. She said, oh, like those ancient hanging gardens of Babylon. Nazmate replied, no, it's named for that cool David Gray song. Man, I wish I'd written that one. Then the guard woman there said, no guns allowed is our one rule. Nazmate said to Little Rock, hand them over. Then the guy in Babylon who took the gun said, we're gonna melt your guns here and give you a pendant. Once we're done, we'll take you up to the rooftop. I hope you like stairs. Then they gave Little Rock a necklace and said, welcome to Babylon. Then Columbus and Tallahassee and Wichita said goodbye to Nevada, and they rode their car on their way to Babylon to save Little Rock. And suddenly, they found Madison is driving alongside them as she is still alive because Columbus did not shoot her, and she joined them in their car and told them that the signs were allergy from nuts. Arriving in Babylon, the group give up their weapons and find Little Rock and Berkeley. As Tallahassee departs, he sees a horde of T-800s drawn to the commune's fireworks and devises a plan to kill them. Using exploding biodiesel, he tells the commune, armed with barricade shields, to corral the zombies off of a nearby skyscraper with himself as the bait. With the exploding biodiesel ineffective, the commune is overwhelmed until Nevada arrives in huge truck, rescuing them. They take out several zombies, causing the vehicle to roll over. Escaping to the skyscraper, they corral the zombies off the roof. Tallahassee uses a construction crane hook to dangle out of reach, but a zombie seizes his leg as it falls. Using a gun previously gifted to her by Tallahassee, Little Rock shoots the zombie and rescues him. The group then reconcile. Wichita accepts Columbus's proposal, while Madison and Berkeley get together, as do Nevada and Tallahassee. The original quartet, including Nevada, then depart Babylon.